Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Zone Star State podcast. I'm Matthew Brune, and joining me once again is Ishmael Johnson, who is recovering from another 3 days in San Antonio. How are you doing, Ish?
Doing good, doing good. Ironically, battling. I posted after I left the Alamo Dome. I posted, I was thinking of doing the Popeye's kitchen worker after,
Yeah.
after the chicken sandwich, but I decided to do a different meme that ended up, I guess, manifesting. I ended up putting Jordan with his hands on his knees after the flu game, and then the next day I tested positive for the flu.
Now you're
so
sick.
I guess I just manifested it. Yeah, I'm at home from work today. I'm gonna still testing positive. I'm gonna try to start working. I feel fine, genuinely, just congested, and so I'm gonna stay home tomorrow, but start getting some work done. So yeah, that's kind of typical for me for boys basketball or basketball in general. High school, I always get sick after the event because it's 6 days with a bunch of people just talking to people and all
Yeah.
over the state,
Yeah.
germs all over the state. So it's just manifesting inside the Alamo Dome.
I was going to say, it's perfect timing for you, huh? To get 2 days at home after after working till Saturday, extended weekend for you. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Lines up really?
It was fun though. It was
Yes.
a star-studded boys
Yes.
championship. You know, my first time seeing Shelton Henderson in person, which was a thing.
Hmm.
Look, that Duncanville team is stacked, but Shelton Henderson and then Anthony Andrews as well, who's a lower rated 3-star player. And Sheldon Henderson was the best player on that floor. And Duke fans, I'm very jealous that you're going to get to see him for, I would hope, a couple years, at least. And because that dude, what I underestimated was his ball handling ability. He's already a physical force,
Yeah.
6'6", 6'7", but the fact that he can also put the ball on the ground and get to the rim almost at will, is that was fun to watch. That game should not have been as close if you just looked at the rosters, but Shelton Henderson and Anthony Andrews kind of made it,
Yeah.
a game. So it was really fun.
Yeah, I saw him once in AU, top 25 player. I think he has connections. I don't know the
So
exact
so
connection.
he
Go ahead.
went. So he goes to Bel Air. He led Bel Air to the championship, their
Yes,
first championship game. Uh, the connection is who's now the head coach at Miami, Jay
that's what it was.
Lucas. Jay Lucas also went to Bel Air.
Yeah,
So there was that connection. He was the Duke's leading assistant. Now just recently got the head coaching job at Miami. Some could say probably should have been the guy that Texas hired when their last job was open, former Texas player. But we'll see how he's been. He's basically been touted as like the guy at both Kentucky before he left, and then now Duke, where he just left for Miami. So he was the top assistant at both spots and kind of the top recruiter as well. So that's what Miami's kind of banking on.
yeah. All right, we have a ton to talk about, and we're gonna try to
Oh
keep
my
this
God, there's so
podcast
much.
to not being an hour long here.
Right.
Um, we are gonna talk about the SEC women's tournament, the Big 12 women's tournament. Both of those have concluded. We have a champion in both of them. And then we have all the other tournaments basically left to play. Texas State in both the men's and women did not advance. Did they even win a game? Either one? I think the
That's a
women
great question.
lost. I thought to
I gotta
Marshall.
think
I
too.
think that was the Marshall win. Regardless, they didn't
Yeah, they
advance.
lost.
So
Texas State also lost to Old Dominion.
okay, so here we are. I believe we have 6 or 7 men's tournaments and then 5 or 6 women's tournaments. We'll get to all those, but first, let's give our initial reactions and our
Yep.
thoughts. TCU wins the Big 12. They beat Baylor for a third straight time.
Mm-hmm.
They led by about 10 in like the second quarter. Baylor fights back, ties it at one point, and then TCU kind of pulls away again.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen this now 3 straight times. There's no debating who the best team in the Big 12 is. And honestly, TCU at this point is probably going to be a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament at this point
Yep.
because they're 31-3. They're awesome.
Right.
My biggest takeaway, my only takeaway from this game is Haley Van Lith is the absolute difference because she is on another level from a really good Baylor guards. Like
Mm-hmm.
she's on another level. Like that's
Yes.
the difference. Is like she can just take over at times and pick her spots. And Baylor's doubling her, trying to get the ball out of her hands, and she's just like so good at this point at processing and making the right plays constantly. She's the difference.
Yeah, no, 100%. I like that you brought up Baylor's guard play versus TCU's, which is again why I think Baylor's. It's hard to say because the past couple of years, Baylor's guards has been why both I've been high on them, but also with a very strict ceiling on them because I do think that players
They're
like Sarah
good.
Andrews, yeah, they're good, but we kind of needed Sarah Andrews to take a step that she just wasn't. That wasn't her ceiling, right? But for Baylor to reach some of those ceilings, we kind of had to pivot and say, okay, maybe they need to go somewhere else. As far as like,
Yeah.
Was that Dariana Little-Page Buggs who was out for the tournament? We kind of. I think Baylor played pretty well without arguably their best player this season versus TCU. Obviously, getting to the tournament championship game, but also it showed that this team could not be on Sarah Andrews' shoulders. So this year was more Aaronette Von Nille when she got going. It was obviously Little-Page Buggs when she was healthy. And I think that that was Baylor kind of reaching a higher ceiling, going toe to toe with TCU, where maybe years past, I don't know if those Baylor teams would go toe to toe with this TCU team the past 2 years, I would say. But in the end, like you said, yes, there was still that extra thing that Haley Van Lith, because we saw Von Lay basically outplayed Sedona Prince, right?
Yeah.
And we can talk about again how that Sedona Prince kind of again matching up against a big who's just as talented as her and kind of falling a little short in the one-on-one. I don't think she shot very well. Obviously looked very uncomfortable, controlled the boards, but looked very uncomfortable. But still, in the end, it was Haley Van Lith who, of course, won Conference Player of the Year and kind of rightfully so. I'm very excited to see how this TCU team does in the tournament and then how far they can go with this dynamic, because I do think that I do wonder if some teams are looking at this now. And again, there's only a handful of teams that can kind of take advantage of attacking Sedona Prince, but I do wonder how many teams that try to gear things around not being afraid to attack Sedona Prince in the paint.
Yeah. I will say, obviously, without Dariana Little-Page Buggs, it does make a huge difference, and they need her back. I haven't seen an update. They need her back for the tournament for every single game. I assume they'll be around a 5 seed. We'll cover all that later. But every single game, they're going to need Little-Page Buggs to be very good and on the court. Bella Fauntleroy is very good. She's gotten foul troubles the last couple games. So it's just hard to, at the 4 position to replace what she gives them. So if they have any chance, if she's healthy, they could definitely make a Sweet 16.
Yeah.
If she's not, I mean, they could lose first round. I don't know. But regardless, very, very good game. The 2 best teams in the Big 12 by a long shot, and we'll see what they do in the tournament. All right, flipping it to the SEC, Texas A&M did not win a game, which we called.
Nope.
We called Texas A&M.
That was fun. They hope they
that
didn't
one to the
unpack their
side.
bags.
Yeah, they did not unpack their bags. Now Texas made the SEC championship game and lost.
And then did not get out of bed.
Yeah, and then they were gone. I don't take too much away from it from the championship game. What I do take away in the big picture of the 3 games that they played, Ole Miss, LSU, and South Carolina, was I still feel the same way I felt about them a couple weeks ago, where it's do I trust them to win 6 games in the NCAA tournament and just winning these rock fights? I don't know. It's just weird watching them play LSU, who didn't have Flau'jae Johnson and then also didn't have Anissa Morrow in the second half, and being why aren't they pulling away here?
Right.
And it's just waiting for some knockout punch. And they've had it at times this year, right? They blew out Maryland. I'm not saying they haven't blown teams out, but in these 3 games, especially Ole Miss and LSU, they just let them hang around too much. And then they play South Carolina, who's obviously very good. And South Carolina is scoring the ball. And it's all right, Texas scored. No, they scored 16 points in the first half.
Yeah.
And so you're okay, are we going to have one of these games in a Sweet 16 or Elite 8 or something like that where Texas just scores 25 points in a half and you're oh, this is not comfortable again. So that's my only thing. It's a very, very, very good team. It's one of the best teams in the country. But I'm just I left these 3 days being they don't have the knockout punch that I wish they had.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I think it's when their defense just isn't up to their elite, their elite status, that they struggle. Because then it turns into a scoring game. And Vic Schaefer, for as effective as his teams are on the inside, particularly from two, they're not a team that's going to match you bucket for bucket for bucket for bucket. They're not built to, right? They're built to get theirs and then stop you from getting yours, right? They are built to, you mentioned rock fights. Texas can dominate a rock fight, right? They can absolutely make it to where they're shooting 30%, you're shooting 25, and they win by 15, right? Like that's how Texas can win. But when you're getting a little bit in the paint, right? Hello, Chloe Kitts. Like you can find a little bit of room in the paint. Like, okay, then there becomes an issue because as we saw late, look, Madison Booker and Rory Harmon. Madison Booker was not great in this game. Rory Harmon was also not great in this game. And they needed outside threats. And when two of your guards are already not shooting very well, they're not outside shooters, obviously. That's not how they play. But late in the game, you're down 15 and you're not getting stops. Naturally, you do need some outside threats. And when you get to that point where Texas needs threes, they're going to lose. They're just going to lose. That's not how they play. Similarly with LSU, right? If you get to a point where it's the fourth quarter and they're down 15, LSU's probably losing that game because they're not going to be able to hit threes. And honestly, you get to a point with South Carolina, right? Like there are certain teams that aren't built to overcome big deficits late like that, right? And Texas is one of those teams. I was watching the game and it was just like you saw the way the game started and you saw that how South Carolina was, and you're just like, it's one of those where you just throw your hands up and say this is not their day. And it is what it is. It's like you said, I don't take too much from this, but I think when you have a game like that and you're Texas and Tahina Paopao doesn't play great and you still get the doors blown off you, it shows the depth of South Carolina, but you're like, dang, one of their starters played pretty badly. And then I don't think Raven Johnson played great either, but then you still lose massively.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they still have Full Wiley. Fagan hit. I turned it off when Fagan hit a three in the third quarter. I just turned it off.
You're like, all right, this is done.
All right, our second three of the season. There you go.
Yeah.
But South Carolina is a lot more of a knockout punch team, with the way they can come at you in ways, and it feels like they go on a 20-0 run at any point in the game. Texas shot 31% against LSU, and they won by 7, and they won 56-49. You're like, okay, cool. Let's just see this in tournament again. They're gonna go far in the NCAA tournament. I don't have doubts about them losing at in an early round, but it's just noteworthy because of where this team is and how interesting it'll be. All right, you ready? You ready to jump into this?
Let's do it.
We'll start on the men's side.
All right.
We'll start on the men's side, and I'll try to share my screen for all of these tournaments so that way we can have a visual aid in addition to what we're talking about. We're going to start with the big tournaments here just because I have them on the screen first.
Yep.
SEC tournament. Let me share my screen. Texas. Well, first of all, over the weekend, Texas lost to Oklahoma at home, which should be the dagger here, I think, for Rodney Terry. Yeah. They are now a 13 seed. Yeah, they are now a 13 seed in the tournament, in the SEC tournament. Meanwhile, Texas A&M is a 5 seed. They could play in the second round on March 13th, so we'll keep track of that. But at this point, what are expectations for these two, Texas and Texas A&M?
I would hope we at least get to the game, get to the the second round game.
Do you think Texas beats Vanderbilt?
I was about to say Texas. Well, I mean, I'm not saying they will. I'm saying I would hope to.
Yeah, I hope so.
Of course, Texas already lost to Vanderbilt this year. So we'll see. That's my hope. That's my bare. I mean, I don't say bare minimum hope because that makes it sound like they should beat Vanderbilt. That's my slight hope. My slight hope is that we get Texas and A&M, and then if we get Texas and A&M, then there could be there could be a interesting scenario there because, as we've seen, Texas gets up for that game, right? Mm-hmm. That's the only way this is interesting, legitimately, because if Vanderbilt beats A&M or beats Texas, okay, then probably pencil in A&M versus Tennessee in round 3. So
yeah, Texas, I think Texas needs to beat Vanderbilt
yeah,
and needs to beat A&M just to have a chance at making the
yeah.
NCAA tournament at this point.
Oh yeah.
They might need to beat Tennessee. I don't know, but like they at very least need to beat Vanderbilt and Texas A&M to have a chance because they lost to Oklahoma. I don't think they do it. I think it's over, and it's going to be really sad. So taking this Trey Johnson game because Trey Johnson against Oklahoma went 0-14, and I thought he passed the ball very well. Like if we want to get nuanced, I don't want to get too deep into it, but I actually thought he actually played with a little bit of feel, which was good to see. But he went 0-14, so it doesn't matter. He should come out firing in this game. I think he'll play well. I think they beat. I don't think they beat Vanderbilt, but I think he has a good game. A&M, I think they beat Vanderbilt, and then that game against Tennessee is very interesting. It's always interesting with these two teams, but I think they'll be underdogs. So I'm not going to pick them
I think they
to
will
advance any farther there. But
I think they only played once and they lost, right? To Tennessee?
yes.
Yeah.
Top of my head, yes. I believe so. So there's the SEC tournament, Texas and Texas A&M. That's the Big 10. Big 12. All right, we got number 1 seed Houston, who just ended the season 19-1. I mean, I honestly thought Baylor might get them. I thought Baylor,
I
might
thought they would too.
steal
Yeah, it
one
looked
here.
like there for a minute.
And then Houston was like, no, just no, you're not doing it. So we have Houston in the 1 seed, Texas Tech 2 seed, Baylor 7 seed, TCU 9 seed. Those are our 4. I guess we start back and go forward. TCU versus Colorado. TCU should be fine, I think. Colorado was really poor this year. And then TCU West Virginia. I don't have any strong take on that because TCU's been out of the NCAA tournament picture for the past couple of weeks. But then we could get TCU Houston, which would, I guess, be fun for some.
Maybe.
Baylor probably playing Kansas State should be fine. Then we could get Baylor Texas Tech. I guess
mentioned that one just because we only got that game once this year. Tech won, obviously, but I'm interested to see those two teams go at it again. If I'm being honest, I don't think Houston has to worry until
championship.
Yeah.
They're beating BYU. Didn't they beat BYU by 30 earlier?
No, yeah, BYU is not the problem. I think if Iowa State makes it.
Oh, Iowa State, yes, correct.
That's the more interesting matchup. Iowa State's not been as great as we thought, but I don't think BYU is not the issue here. If Iowa State put things together a little bit more, then I think that they're the bigger issue for Houston for me.
Yeah, that's the wild card team, Iowa State in all this. So are you taking Houston or Texas Tech to win it all?
Oh man.
Give me the Red Raiders. I'm wearing my Grant McCasland shirt, so I can't go.
Yeah. I'm going Tech as well.
I think
we need a fully healthy game between these two. Healthy, available, because they were healthy in the first game. They just got ejected. We need a fully available game between these two.
Yes, I agree. That's what I want. That's what I want. And I do think they're clearly the top 2 teams here. I think there's a gap between Iowa State's the next team. They're just 5th here.
I think let me see. In Ken Palm, it's number 3 Houston, number 7 Tech, and then number 10 Iowa State. They're so tight.
So Houston might have got a worse draw here.
Yeah.
Houston's got to play Iowa State in the semis potentially. Texas Tech gets Arizona or Kansas potentially. So we'll see. I do think Texas Tech ends up winning it, but Houston is Houston.
I was about to say Houston's locked into a 1. So
yeah, Houston could lose against West Virginia and they'll be a 1 seed. So I think they're fine. We do have to talk about the ACC. Fun time.
Yes, we do.
First time on this podcast, we're talking about the ACC tournament. SMU is the 6th seed here, and they need to not only beat Florida State or whoever else. I wonder if a Clemson win gets them in. I do wonder if a Clemson win gets. I know they're on the outside. Do they need to make the championship game?
My worry is that they ended the year very badly.
Yes.
That loss to Florida State at the end of the year, I feel like felt like a death knell. I feel like, let me see.
Let me see too.
Let me see. They might
Actually,
be.
yeah, the Florida State loss probably did it. I was just thinking off the Stanford
They
loss.
might be over in quad one games. They might be done.
No, they are.
They are.
They are done, actually. All right, it's win it or
Yeah.
nothing. Can SMU run the tournament? Sorry, I was misled. I forgot about the Florida State game, honestly. I just remember the Stanford
Yeah,
loss.
they're 0-4 in quad one. Yeah, no, this is done. 6
All
and
right,
5 in quad
all or
two. Yeah,
nothing here. Gotta
no,
beat
it's over. You got to
Clemson.
win the tournament.
Gotta beat Louisville, and then probably have to beat Duke. What are the odds?
Maybe
One,
squeaking in if they make the tournament, if they make the championship, maybe. But
I mean, that would be wins over Clemson and Louisville. Those would be like 2 quad one wins. The first time all year they win quad one wins
right.
is in the
So
ACC
at
tournament.
the very least, it's championship game or bust.
Yes.
And then even if you
So,
make it, yeah, you're still praying for some.
hope that you don't have to play Duke.
Right.
Hope somebody else beats Duke for you, and you can just win the ACC championship. But in realistically, I think Clemson is significantly better than them, and I don't think they really have a chance at winning that game.
Sure.
They have not been good in quad one games. They've not been able to like elevate themselves, which is fine. Like it's year one. We can get into the
Sure.
the big picture of SMU at a
We're
different
nitpicking
point.
something that we didn't know would be a possibility.
Yeah, like we thought they might be playing in this first section of games here on the left, like
Right.
going into the year. So to come in sixth is not a bad season at all. I just don't see them being able to elevate to that level of winning against Clemson and then potentially against Louisville as well. So,
right.
All right, there's the big four. Shout out to Gary Seegers. I'm just completely going through your Twitter and just scrolling through what we have here. The American.
Oh,
On the
yes,
men's
this
side. This came
one.
out last night. This
Yes.
is fresh off the presses right here. North Texas and UAB both lost yesterday, so we are they stay at 2 and 3. Regardless, Memphis was already the number 1 seed no matter what. They won the American. Good for them. So, if we start at the back, Rice's 12 seed. They've had a terrible year first year under Rob Lanier. I honestly thought they were going to be better than
They
this.
started non-conference
Yes.
or promising, and then things just fell apart.
And it's not to say Rob Lanier is a bad hire, not to say that they can't get it on track. This has just been a worse year than what I
There's
thought.
a lot more to fix than we kind of thought.
Yeah, so we'll see if they make it out the first day. UTSA 11 seed versus ECU 6 seed. Maybe UTSA
Promising.
could pull it off. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yep.
There, are you calling your shot? UTSA gets to second round. I know nothing about ECU. Just telling you right now.
Yeah, no,
East Carolina.
It's a promising year for UTSA, but I'm not going with that far.
Ken Palm has it as a 1-point game. Give me the Roadrunners.
Go for it. All right, there you go.
The only time you'll see me do that right there. Nobody screenshot that.
Clip that.
Clip it.
Give me the Roadrunners. Use that out of context.
So yeah, then we get UTSA versus UAB potentially in the second round. I think that's swiftly over. The top 3 teams in this conference should roll to the semis. Memphis, North Texas, UAB being the top 3 there. What odds do we give North Texas of winning this tournament? 20%? 25%? Because you got to beat UAB. UAB games are always coin flips.
Always coin flip.
And then you're going to play Memphis, who you're going to be an underdog against. Like you're going to be, I don't know, 4 or 5 point underdogs in that game.
I'm gonna give 25. Yeah, I'll give 25.
So
that's a tough one though. Yeah. That's a Friday game, right? I believe that's Friday.
March. Which one?
Sorry, UNC's first game is Friday.
March 14th. That is Friday. Yes. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Right?
Okay.
Am I?
Yeah. Yes.
Correct on that? Okay, cool.
Should be correct.
I will say for North Texas' sakes, first of all, Atten Wright had a 40-point game, 42 points.
I was about to say, yeah, he closed up. Was it Charlotte versus Charlotte?
Charlotte, yes.
Yeah, fantastic game.
Awesome game. Like this is a team I really hope can put it together here because from a talent perspective, you have Wright, you have Laurent, and then you have a lot of good pieces around them. So I'm interested to see the UAB game. Like that's the one for me. If they beat UAB and then go into the Memphis game, and Memphis, for all we know, could at least lose to Tulane. Like they're not playing for their season, Memphis.
Yeah.
North Texas, UAB, all these other teams are playing for their season. So I'm curious to see if that added element of pressure, helps North Texas at all. But I did want to shout them out. I think either way, North Texas, like even if I know at some point you can want to make the NCAA tournament continuously, but
Yeah.
I think they'll play in the NIT if not. But
Right.
we'll see. But I'm gonna take North Texas. I have to. I'm wearing their shirt.
Okay. Yeah.
So give me the mean green there. What else we got? Conference USA, CUSA. It's not good for us. Ish. It's not good for us. We're in the 8-9. We're in the 8-9 game. UTEP and Sam Houston State. Tomorrow at 5:30. Who does it feel like Joe Golding has pressure here to win this game?
I think so.
Is
I mean,
that like
Sam's not very good.
no? UTEP should. UTEP playing this game is annoying.
They should absolutely at least get to Liberty. That's at the minimum. They gotta win. They gotta win the game. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I didn't know how bad it was. I'm sorry. I knew it was bad. It got kind of bad, but I didn't know it got to 7-game lose streak.
Yeah, they lost 7 straight to end the year. He's got to win this game, man. Like, look, this team fell off a cliff. They need to at least win this game. That's all I'm gonna say. They need to at least win this game.
Bro, I didn't know it got that bad. I knew it was some losses.
Yeah.
Forgive me, UTEP fans who are listening to this. I knew there was some losses. I didn't know it was 7 straight.
And they're all, I think, like all but like 2 of them are like single-digit games.
Yeah.
They're all like that. That's just like.
Well, we have. Well, no. A couple more. 7, 10. We're nitpicking losses. 7, 10, 8, 7, 1, 2, 16, 18. Sorry.
One blow.
Yeah.
Honestly, just one blowout in that game. Like that's.
Yeah. But then Sam Houston, who we thought was going to be really, really bad, was 1-10, and that is now 6-12. So credit to Lamar Wilkerson, who still one of my favorite players in college basketball. Lamar Wilkerson is on an absolute heater. If you look at his stats, had 29 against UTEP on March 6th, had 32 against New Mexico State on 7 of 10 from 3. One of the best shooters in the country, Lamar Wilkerson. So I'm picking Sam Houston State. Sorry, Joe. Sorry to them. Give me Lamar Wilkerson to end UTEP season on an 8-game losing streak.
Jesus
is right. That's not good. And then they'll play Liberty and probably lose, but it doesn't matter. We get UTEP, Sam Houston State there. What else we got? The WAC. I'm trying to figure out how this bracket is. Sorry, they always have the 1 seed over here and the 4 or 5 over here. It confused me. Anyways, we have 7 seed UT Arlington versus Grand Canyon. We've talked about UT Arlington on this podcast before.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a weird format bracket.
Disappointing year, but at the same time, not like surprising.
Right.
I think there's still talent on this team, but when you play Grand Canyon, you're not gonna like Grand Canyon is one of the best mid-majors in the country.
Didn't Grand Canyon take one of their players too from last year? I'm pretty sure. Let me double check.
You're probably right.
Yeah, let me see. Grand Canyon. What was his? Makai Williams. Yep, I remember him now.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh my God! You know who's on this Grand Canyon team?
Who?
Jacoby Coles.
Wow, that is a pull. Talk about Texas high school basketball. Jacoby Coles.
I forgot he was still playing.
Formerly of Butler.
Did not know he had eligibility after TCU.
Who he played for?
It's 14-6.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, Grand
That
Canyon
is crazy. Very good. Yeah. So.
No, they'll put that away. Then we get 6 seed Tarleton State against Cal Baptist. Tarleton we've talked about as well. Made the coaching change, won a couple games. It didn't matter. They came right back down to earth. 7-9 in conference play. I'm interested to see where their next step is going into next year because they didn't hire the full. Like they're still in an interim role, right? Like I
believe so.
Oh my gosh! Hold on. No. I'm thinking of Stephen F. Austin.
We're thinking of SFA, who made a hire.
I'm thinking of Stephen F. Austin, who made a
Brett
hire.
Tanner's still there.
Yes. Sorry, that's what I'm thinking of. Tarleton. With them. Yeah. Regardless, Tarleton has not been great this year, and then Abilene Christian round us out in the WAC as the 4 seed against Seattle. 8-8 year. not much
Nope.
here. One of the worst offenses in the country, 327th in offense, 88th in defense. Brett Tanner for Abilene Christian there. So we have no expectations of the WAC. I think the WAC is very, very top heavy with these top two,
Yeah.
especially Utah Valley and Grand Canyon. Like those are just, they're going to sweep through the competition.
Yeah.
There, we have nobody in the MAC, nobody in the MAC. And are we done? Is that all of them? No, Southland. Where's Southland? SWAC. Let's do SWAC first. Is Texas Southern, who has dropped to 4. I know they were up to 2 at one point. They dropped to 4. This would be some magic even for them, I think, at this point. Also, the SWAC expanded their tournament out to 10 teams this year. I don't know if you noticed that. It used to just be 8. But Texas Southern's at the 4. Prairie View's at the 10. How surprising would it be if Texas Southern made a run? I guess is the question this year.
If they made this year, I mean, this year would definitely be the biggest surprise. They haven't beaten Southern this year.
No.
Who's the number 1? Who they'd get if they'd win their first game.
Yeah.
But if they beat Southern, then I don't think it's I think it's possible, but it'd definitely be Johnny Jones's best yet. So yeah, I don't know. I'd say look, it's early, so like if they beat Southern, then yeah, I'd probably have them a decent chance, but it definitely wouldn't be expected.
I'll say this: his best job, because I don't think this would be his best. His best one was in 2023. They were the 8 seed.
Okay.
And they won 3 straight games, and they made the tournament at 11-20 and 7-11 overall. So this would be I remember that so vividly. I'm like, yeah. So now it's like anytime they're in the tournament, I just have anything could happen type mindset here for them. Prairie View, we might need Prairie View needs an overhaul of some sort here because it's just not happening. I don't see the Southland in here. Is the Southland finalized? Let me go to Twitter here. Southland. Southland Conference. It's the first round. Do we have a full bracket? I don't see one. I guess the question is, regardless of the bracket here, is can anybody beat McNeese? And like, are you picking Lamar? Just no. Like, can Lamar do it? We're all in your corner, Lamar.
Anyone as in Lamar, and no.
Like that's the question.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be possible, unfortunately.
No. I mean, look, Lamar, they had the last game they lost by 2. It's possible, but I wouldn't bet on it.
I'm going to the SWAC website just to see if I can get a bracket real quick for us. Yeah, McNeese 1, Lamar 2. Let me share that real quick over here. McNeese 1, Lamar 2. What dates are these? It's already started here. So we have A&M Corpus Christi beat Houston Christian yesterday. A&M Corpus Christi plays at 5 today. UIW plays at 7:30, and then the winners of those play McNeese and Lamar. Should be pretty light work for the top 2 teams, and then the championship game is Wednesday at 4. So that I will be tuned into 100%. Lamar versus McNeese, most likely. So, all right. That's it on the men's side. The women's side is a little easier, I think. We're going to start in the American. And before I even pull up the bracket, are you taking UTSA over North Texas again? Or like, what are you looking for if those two meet again in the championship game? That's the number 1 and number 2 teams by far. If I put you on the spot and like North Texas versus UTSA, what does North Texas have to do to win? Because at this point, it feels like UTSA has their number.
In a rematch, I'm going UTSA. Oh man, what does North Texas have to do? I mean, look, the one thing that I can say that they did not do well in the first game, in the last game, was Tamisha Lampkin has to play better. Point blank. If she plays better, they win that game probably, and that's better said than done. but they just need UTSA to worry about somebody else or somebody scoring wise in the post. Make Jenkins and Udo concerned work a little bit more on that end. So I think if Lampkin gets going, I think UNT can win that game if Lampkin gets going, because they somehow lasted as long as they did without her really having a good game. So it might just be that easy. We'll see. But then again, if you're UTSA, you can just say, okay, if our guards play better, then we probably blow them out.
Well,
So it's like,
I think North Texas has the 3-point variance. Like UTSA does not make threes
right.
ever. North Texas at times can make threes. So
Yeah.
like if they get hot from 3 on one of these games and it's like, okay, like boom, here's our equalizer. Because you're right, they need to have an equalizer one way or the other. It either needs to be from 3 or it needs to be Tamisha Lampkin playing even with or better than Jordan Jenkins, which has yet to happen. And I'm not sure if it can happen. But like that's what it will take for North Texas to win. But yes, you're right in that UTSA is going to be the incumbent. UTSA is going to be the favorite if they play again, which is most likely. I know Temple is good down here. So UTSA will probably play them. Rice, I also don't overlook. Like, I don't think they win, but like I wouldn't be surprised if Rice kept it somewhat close this year or in this game. They play. Hold on, they just played. So let's see the final score. Should have just went final. So let's do this live on live reaction to an upset potentially. Let's see. UTSA. I told you Rice was gonna catch him.
Here we go.
Rice beats UTSA 62-58.
It's happening again.
Rice has beaten UTSA.
It's
Lindsay Edmonds.
It's happening again.
They call Tom Izzo, Mr. March?
Mr. March.
I think we found Mrs. March right here. Lindsay Edmonds, 62-58. Rice beats UTSA. Malia Fisher, 16 points. Jordan Jenkins, 22. Wow, UTSA done. Unbelievable.
And they just received their first vote for AP.
Oh, yeah. God. I don't know why. When I was looking at it and we didn't have this. We didn't have the. I didn't know what time they played today, but I was like, I just don't feel great.
Yeah.
Rice catches them. Rice absolutely catches them. So we have Rice in the semis now. Now, at this point, we just have North Texas or Rice at this point, hopefully winning the championship because we need one of these Texas teams to make it out. If Rice wins another conference championship as a 9 seed or an 8 seed, whatever they were last year, brother,
that's insane.
Lindsay Edmonds, come on the pod.
What a
again.
wizard! She's
what
awesome.
A wizard. So Rice,
she locks in. She knows how to lock in.
Sandbagging all year, waiting for this game.
That's insane. Hold on, let's see. Have they had the? Let me look. I'm gonna take a quick peek at the box scores. Let me see how this played out.
Yeah, the box score on there didn't only showed points, so I didn't see minutes or anything else.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna see what I can look up. Oh my god, that's insane. That's
45 minutes ago. Rice defeats. Oh boy, 26-4 now for UTSA. Oh man.
We got nope. Yeah, they don't have. Hey, they don't have the box score yet. That's crazy. Not even on the AAC website.
Yeah, I'm just reading it now. Like I said, Malia Fisher 16 points, Anaya Alexis 15, Dominic Ennis 13, Jordan Jenkins for UTSA 22 points, but that's it, man. It is,
and that's the end of Jordan Jenkins' career.
Yeah, I mean, an NIT. We'll see if they play in the NIT or something like that.
Sure.
But yes, for all intent, like, and I keep saying the NIT. I said it twice now, but it's like that is ultimately secondary because, like, I'm sure that locker room and I'm sure that team is like just broken. Like at that point, when you lose this way, like this was supposed to be the year that they broke through with Karen Aston and they had built for 4 years. We talked about this team and this program for the last 4 years and building it up. This was like the run.
Rice led for 27 minutes of the game.
Yeah. It didn't look
They
like
only
a
had one.
fool.
They only had one lead change. Jesus Christ.
So here we are. Man, that is a gut punch to UTSA. So hopefully North Texas takes care of business tonight, so we at least get one of our teams moving forward. I mean, besides Rice, obviously.
Yeah.
But
That's
man, that is a huge result on the women's side there.
Lindsay Edmonds says, "You forgot who runs this."
Sorry, Karen. It's like the Lightning McQueen meme.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
he
When
pulls
your
up to the
goat's washed.
side. Oh god.
When your goat's washed.
Oh no. Yeah, so that's very interesting. That's gonna be something we're gonna continue to track. The championship game's on Wednesday, I believe it is. Yes,
Yeah.
Wednesday. So yeah, Wednesday has all these championship games on it. I didn't even realize. So that'll keep us busy. All right, give me another conference here. We only have small ones left, right? Here. Because we don't have the ACC. Let's go to Southland. Who's left here on the Southland for us? I know they started. All right, tonight we have UIW, and we have. I'm sorry, tomorrow we have UIW, and we have Northwestern State. A&M Corpus Christi ends up losing to Northwestern State. A&M Corpus Christi has been the biggest surprise of the year for me.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting them to just not be competitive here. Finish 8th, and they lose in the first round. So A&M Corpus Christi season's done. Like we've talked about, it's going to be Lamar and SFA here, most likely playing at 1 o'clock on Wednesday to go to the championship game against Southeastern. I'm not sure anybody can beat Southeastern, but Lamar and SFA have the talent to do so, and they have like the built-in, chemistry and toughness, I think, that could do it. But that's going to be a really good game. Lamar and SFA always play competitive contest there. So I'm not picking them to do it, to beat Southeastern. I think this is Southeastern's year. But Lamar and SFA have always played good games, and they could always hang with Southeastern. So we'll see. There. And then we only have like 2 more, I think. Sunbelt's done, American's done, Southland. The WAC starts tomorrow on the women's side. And I'll say this, their bracket is the only one that I've ever seen go from right to left. So I don't know what to do with this
Just trying to be
information.
different.
Yeah, they're like, how can we change this up? Have we tried going right to left? I don't know. Grand Canyon is the obvious favorite here. We have 4-seed Abilene Christian. We have 2-seed Tarleton State, who's been one of the bigger surprises, I'd say, this year. 3-seed UT Arlington as well, who we've talked about. Like UT Arlington was my pick of the Texas teams to like potentially make a run at it. We talked about them. Brittingham, Nelson, Threat, so on and so forth. Like that UT Arlington is really, really fun. I think UT Arlington can do it. Like, I'm not sure they can beat Grand Canyon, but I think UT Arlington against Tarleton in that game in the second round should be like Eileen Arlington here. So that championship game is on Saturday.
Yeah.
So we should have a Texas team in there, is what I'm saying. Like Tarleton or UTA should be in the championship game. I'll be shocked if not. So that's another one for us to watch at 12:30 on the 15th, which is Saturday, correct? Yes. And then we end it with, where's the SWAC? Oh, I just had it pulled up. Here you go. Scroll all the way down. We talked about the WAC. Oh, CUSA real quick. Let's talk about CUSA. And never mind, 404 page on not found for CUSA. And then if I can find the SWAC. Here it is. Oh, it's just a link to the standing. Not even the full thing. Texas Southern's in second. Prairie View is down here. The thing about Texas Southern and Southern which we talked about before, as we like looked through their season. Texas Southern lost to Southern by 10 on the road. That should be the championship game. I'll be kind of like, I think this is Texas Southern's year on the women's side. Like, we've seen
Yeah.
it time and time again where the SWAC women's side has been kind of up and down for us.
Yeah.
I think Prairie View had a run a couple years ago or a few years ago where they were like real competitive. But Texas Southern, at least to my memory, has not been the one that we're like, oh, this is the year.
Right.
So
Right.
Texas Southern, like, this could be their season. Like, this could be their push here. I wouldn't be shocked at all. They'll have to go through Alabama A&M and then potentially Southern again. But it's open. It's open. The top of the SWAC is definitely open here. So Texas Southern, I think, could definitely make a run at it. And that is it. There's the rundown of every conference tournament we have that we'll be watching. Is there anyone on the women's side that you're looking at, or a team that you're looking forward to, like, being like, hey, they can win it?
I mean, at this point, you got to look at Rice, right?
Yeah, let's stay on Rice for a second.
Yeah,
I'm
like it's
still
got
not
to be
over
that
it.
one.
Yeah, because they'll play the winner of Charlotte Temple in the next round, who are playing right now. I mean, that's a winnable game. I think with Malia Fisher and kind of just Dominic Ennis, who we've talked about, and there has to be some sort of magic that they have at this point where they're confident. Like, even in the NCAA tournament last year when they played LSU, they weren't scared. Like, they never seem scared of their season ending. And I think that's the best way of putting it. And so
Yeah.
it's a dangerous team to play, no matter who it is. I would love if we got Rice North Texas in the championship game. I would
That'd be
absolutely love
fun. Yeah, no, that'd be a good one. Rice, I believe they were close to getting UTSA a couple times during the regular season. I could be mistaken on that, but I feel like those games were close too. So I guess it's not too big of a surprise that they lost, that they beat them, that they're able to beat them in the tournament.
My wish list before we end it, I need one of the Lamars to win it, men's or women's.
Sure.
I need one of the Texas Southerns to win it, men's or women's.
Mhm.
I don't think we have a shot in CUSA. I would love it if well, obviously in the Big 12, man, we need Houston or Texas Tech to win it. I'm trying to think of all the championships we can amass here. And then I'll say in the WAC women's, probably, one of them, like I said, UTA or Tarleton potentially winning it as well. So those would be the games to watch on the men's and women's side this week. So that should get us through. On Thursday when we pod, we should have results from those, like, especially the later ones. The smaller tournaments should be done on Wednesday. The bigger ones will start up on Wednesday. So we'll have initial results. Whatever seasons end, we can talk about those as well. So that'll give us plenty to talk about. Anything else before we go? All right. We're good. Under an hour. So yeah, that's all we got for y'all today. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Leave us a like, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already. And we will talk to y'all later. Enjoy March. Enjoy these conference tournaments, and good luck to all y'all's teams out there making a run at this thing.